And then, of course, it'll be up on the YouTube channel for By My Side Today. And you can be linking it in there. We'll also be linking it to the Family Care Council Facebook page, and as well as anybody else. So let's just go ahead and do a brief introductions for people. Remember, you are muted right now, so if you'll unmute yourself. Stephanie, you're already unmuted. You want to just tell us who you are and why you're here?
Hi, everyone. I am Stephanie Norden. I actually live down in Collier County, so Naples, Florida. I have 2 boys that are on the waiver. I have 2 other boys, and I am a part of a parent-driven, parent-led grassroots advocacy effort to try to influence some positive change for the 2024 session. And then we call ourselves We the People.
Great. Welcome. Glad you're here. Miss Amanda, it looks like you're next in line.
Hi, Amanda Hayes. I too am in the group with Stephanie, and we're pretty passionate about reaching out to our legislatures and trying to educate them on our struggles, I guess, and how they can help. I just got my son, he's 14, onto the crisis med waiver. Found out last week. I think it was last week. So yeah, it definitely works to speak out.
Cool. Thank you for joining us today. Ashley, is it Bessman? Are you online? Would you like to share?
Hello, my name is Ashley Bessison, and I'm a Tier 2 Hope Navigator for the Department of Children and Families Hope Florida program. And our program is a program designed to help clients with self-sufficiency and overcoming the barriers in their lives that are keeping them and holding them back from self-sufficiency.
Well, you said Tier 2 Hope Navigator. Can you?
Yeah, what we do is we do intake assessments with clients to figure out what their barriers are. And then we create them a care plan and address their different barriers with referrals and resources out in their community based on their zip code. So if they're needing like transportation and they need a bus pass, then we would send them to like Star Metro. Then they could get online, fill out the application, and obtain a 31-day bus pass. So
Gotcha.
we do.
Do you do this locally or statewide?
Statewide. We have Hope
Cool.
Navigators all over the state of Florida in different areas, and it's a free program designed for people to have to be 18 or older. At least one person, the main person on the case has to be 18 or over. They have to be willing to work the program with us, and they have to live in the state of Florida. That's our only requirement.
Gotcha. Would you please put your contact information in the chat box for us? Because I always love to find new resources and information things. So that would be really great if you could do that.
Okay, thank you.
Miss Patty, you're next up.
Hi, I'm Patty Hoagland, mother of Mary Hoagland and 2 sons, living in the Panhandle, and my daughter was on the waiver from the day it started and had to get off the waiver when we lost nursing care through the waiver, which did not make me happy.
One of the things that's on the APD state budget request is, of course, to increase the wages for the nursing care for the APD clients or the people who are on the waiver. So I know you've really struggled with that, and we've lost a lot of good nurses for our people who need that in-home nursing care. Let's see here. So thank you, Patty, for joining us. Rachel Payne, you're up.
Rachel Payne. I'm the owner and director of Together Towards Independence, a waiver support coordination agency in the Panhandle.
Wonderful. It's always great to have Panhandle people join us. Thank you so much. Miss Annette, are you there?
I'm here. I'm Annette Z with the Agency for Persons with Disabilities in the Northwest region.
Welcome, Miss Annette.
Thank you.
Anna, is it Anna Tedder?
Yes, so I'm Anna Tedder. I am the SEDNet Region 1 manager, which SEDNet is a discretionary project with DOE supporting our students with emotional and behavior disabilities. And I cover Escambia, Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, and Walton County.
Great, welcome. Anthony, are you online?
Yes, I am. How you doing?
Welcome.
All right. My name is Anthony. I'm also a Hope Navigator, Tier 2, with the Department of Children and Families. Can't say a lot more. I think Ashley said it very well with regard to what we do. The only thing I might add is, a lot of times our goal is to kind of fill in the gaps. Sometimes people are getting help on state programs, and we may not have a program that addresses some of the underlying needs that are there. So we just want to fill in that gap and connect them with the resources that may be available. And
Wonderful.
I'm hoping I can learn from you guys. I'm sure it sounds like there are a lot of people here I can learn a lot from. So I'm looking forward to it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Elaine, it looks like you popped up next. Elaine, you're muted.
That would help, right? My name is Elaine, and I have a son, Adam, who is almost 30. That's a big one. And he is living in a group home and very creative, loves Disney. We do events in costumes, and I enjoy these Zooms where I can learn whatever I can learn, and there's always so much more. So I appreciate everybody doing them.
Wonderful. What part of the state do y'all live in?
St. Lucie County.
Okay, great. Mr. Allen, you've joined us, and you
Hey,
just
I had the wrong link. I had some link that went to resources or something.
okay.
So did Ron get on?
Not as of yet.
I wonder if he has the correct link, because the link you sent to both of us was a different link.
Gotcha. I did resend that this morning. Hopefully I didn't send out to the last month's event or what have you. But I did
Okay.
resend them this morning. So Mr. Allen, if people who don't know, tell us who you are.
I am the CEO for the ARC of Florida, and this is my 3rd year here. And we are the advocacy arm of our colleague chapters and community partners. And basically we focus on training and advocacy.
And I've seen your group do a really kick that up this year. Now you have 3 different kinds of Zoom calls that help connect people throughout the state. Can you tell us about those real quick?
Yeah, we have once a month we do a Zoom call for providers, and if you go on our website, in fact, is there a way I could share my page? I can go to the website and show them what we do.
If I can find the right button, yeah.
All you gotta do is press share.
Oh, is that what it is?
It's
share.
disabled right now, but if you click on the share screen.
Gotcha, multiple participants. Okay, I think we did that.
Yeah, now it's letting me do it.
Cool.
So I'll put it on here real quick. Screen sharing has stopped. I don't know why.
You had just
Let me
for a
try one more
second.
time. Let me try one more time.
Had you just for a second, then it popped off.
Can you see the shared screen?
Yes, our mission under the ARC of Florida.
Okay. So if you go to advocacy, this is where all the advocacy stuff is. And the first thing is awareness initiative, which is be prepared, be counted, be heard. And the be prepared, we get a lot of calls from out of state or people that don't know how to apply for the Medicaid waiver and stuff. So we have a video and a discussion of be prepared and a website to guide them through that. The be counted talks about the importance of being on the wait list if you're not on it, and the reasons why. And the last one's be heard, and that's our advocacy component.
Right.
If you go to our meetings here, let me click on meetings. We have 3 types: the advocacy meetings, which is families or whoever wants to be an advocate. And we have that once a month. And if you click on it, you can see what the topics are. Of course, during session, we'll be talking about legislative stuff a lot. Then you have provider forums. That is we allow up to 500 providers. They don't have to be affiliates or colleagues. We want to help educate everyone. And so these monthly forums, we take a topic based on what people want and talk about it. Could deal with iConnect, could deal with SANS, could deal with a specific disability. I think yesterday we had one on the benefit of therapy and facility dogs, or that might have been a lunch and learn actually. And then we do lunch and learns where we talk about different topics with people, for parents, caregivers, and self-advocates. And let me show you, like, if you miss a meeting, you can click on here. We put all our trainings on YouTube afterwards. So because we know people are busy, but if you look at like the advocacy meeting and click on that, you'll see Wednesday, the 6th, December 6th, we're going to be talking about CDC Plus, an overview of it. And I'm sure we'll have a waiver support coordinator expert talking about it. And on January 10th, what is Disability Rights Florida? We're going to have them on to talk about what they can do. And on the 14th, we're going to talk about what's happening in the legislature. We'll be probably the budget will be done by then. If you go to Provider Forum, December 5th, we're just talking about going into legislation, what to expect. By then, we'll have the governor's budget, and we'll talk about the advocacy. On January 6th, we'll again be talking about the legislature because they're going to be interested in it. We may need to call upon them to contact people. And then on February 13th, what is ABA therapy? And I think that's going to be Dr. Olive. She is the CEO for the Association for Behavior Analysts. And just give you a feeling of, and we've scheduled these out till halfway through next year. The Lunch and Learn, benefits and differences of SSDI and SSI. And then we're doing one for also on what is ABA therapy here too. So, yep.
ABA seems to be the catch-all for behavior type things and has really gained. But with that being said, it's also one of the highest paid waiver services out there. And they really put them under the gun for documentation and other things.
I would say that we have chapters, colleagues, and community partners, and one of our community partners, because I see Stephanie on here, is We the People by the People. And so they have a Friday call to talk about advocacy and sharing experiences and what's happening. And you can join the meeting or you can create a story. But we've started adding additional community partners like Autism Speaks, American Children's Campaign. And then we have colleagues. So we have a bunch of colleagues, and then we have ARC affiliates. And, you know, we have a Google map so you can see where we're located in the state. We have about 55 providers and all. So we're pretty much everywhere. We have like a big gap in Central Florida, and basically we spend most of our time advocating. In fact, this afternoon I'm going to meet the Senate Appropriations Director, and going to talk to him about one of the things that really annoys me is they have all this money and they're not spending it, and there's so much need out there. And so I was going to talk to him about about considering, they had the American Rescue Plan for all of the COVID. If they come up with a Florida Rescue Plan where they can tell where the money hasn't been spent yet, and maybe make it available for people on the wait list to get respite, maybe some of the group homes to get generators for those that don't have generators but have people on oxygen there, and different things, like a lot of one-time things, and to help families, because it's kind of amazing if you end up lapsing money. So that's kind of like what I'm trying to push for. And plus, we're going to need a rate increase. We know that there's a committed effort to reduce the wait list, which means a lot more people are going to be getting services, and the services aren't out there in the community.
Finding the providers are not correct. Yes.
There's not enough providers, and they're not going to get them unless they have a rate increase. I know APD is looking at a study to look at rural areas, which a lot of people in your catchment area would be in.
I hope
And,
so.
yeah, so they're looking at that. But we're here really supporting families and advocates, self-advocates, to try to basically get services and get the system working. We know some major changes are coming in the next couple of years, though.
Oh yeah. Part of the American Rescue Plan you mentioned, we took that. My organization, By My Side Today, took that, and we started working on being an advocate, I guess you could say, for the providers, issuing free videos, free support, in trying to help get them through the system. Because as I'm a retired support coordinator, but one of the big issues there was finding the providers to go into the homes or into the ADTs.
Yeah.
Finding those good quality people, because when the state went electronically, a lot of our good older quality caregivers kind of said, bye. We don't understand technology. We're not going to do technology. So it's left a huge gap in how do we find these people. So a lot of the webinars that we've done have to do with what can we do for provider support. So I'm glad to see that hopefully we'll be able to use that money in different ways.
Well, I'd say one of the challenges is we've had some protections over the last couple of years with not only the American Rescue Plan, which really most providers got up to $1 million to help retain staff through retention bonuses, training, things like that. But this month we lost the Appendix K, for the federal government allowed during emergencies to not be so concerned about ratios as long as everyone was safe. And that's going to be a challenge because if you don't have staff, you have to send people home if you got like an adult day training, because you got to have the ratios. Even if you may have a nurse there, that nurse doesn't count as part of the ratios. So it's kind of interesting. And we're trying to, we've been pushing to try to institutionalize that like they've done throughout the country in a lot of places since this happened. And it seems like CMS was encouraging it actually. But also, especially where you guys live, there's a lot of state employees. They raised last year the salaries by at least 5% of all state employees, including in the institution in Sunland, which makes it very hard for the nonprofit sector to compete when they just went up to $15 a couple of years ago, and they lifted the state up to that too. But now the government will be paying more as a minimum. So we can't even compete with state government now, which is strange because the statute's goal is to have people in the community. So why would you pay people at institutions more than you pay people to work with people in the community? So that's kind of a challenge there. And I know a lot of people expect raises. I don't anticipate they're going to get them just because, people are managing deficits these days.
And one of the reasons for that is, with the lack of staff, the staff that you did have, you end up going into overtime, which just wipes out whatever budget it is. So a lot of our ADTs and group homes are operating in the red, I guess you would call it.
But,
one of the things you did, if I can find it on my screen share, one of the flyers that you did put out was this one. I wanted to talk about real quickly. This was you were talking about money and budgets.
Just so you know, this first one, this is all factual. This is all on their website, on the accountability website. I think it's called Transparency Florida. Jim DeBogerin did this for us. He used to work in the budget office of the House and Senate. And this is last year, 157.7 million. And this other 110 million, what happened is the FFP match went up. So this ended up being more money. And what they did is they took the money and put it in reserves when it could have been spent for people with, on the waiver or wait list. And, this doesn't even include the 11.5 million of dental that has not been contracted out for 2 years. That's general revenue. And this $3 million here is the individual family support funds. This is for families on the wait list that could get, some help. And that didn't get spent either. So, this isn't all money reverted, but if you're in a crisis and you can find money, you want to spend it for where you're in a crisis. And I consider us in a crisis. I think a lot of people do right now. And, I just noticed that the other day that Ohio just increased the rates by 35%. And the way they did that is everyone speaking with one voice. It's obvious what happened there, that everyone spoke up and they realized that they had a crisis there. I think we're in about as bad a shape as we were just before the $15 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I think the reason, we did a survey and it's on our website under legislation. I think it's the second page, but we did a survey of providers, and what it was showing was, I think I have one here. Well, it was showing that I think like 37% of the providers were reducing services, because what they're doing is managing programs, but they're also managing the deficits they have. And what they got from the federal government was some loans and also some earned retention credits. So they have this other pot of money, but it's dwindling now. They're using it up, but they got to keep their eye on that as they're trying to keep capacity up in the community. And I don't know if that makes sense to you all, but I've talked to a number of our providers that are doing it, and they say the money's going to run out, next year.
Well, here we go. Okay, thank you so much for information. I don't see Mr. Ron online. Ms. Stephanie, I'd like to switch over to you to see what you've got going on there.
Sure. Again, I am Stephanie Norden down in Naples, Florida, and I began learning about how to approach local legislators last year. One of my sons was in an accident, and I applied for the crisis waiver while we were still in the ICU, and was instantly made aware that I was dealing with a lot of bureaucracy, and that this was a fragile house of cards of a organization that I needed help with. And to make a long story short, it took my sons 385 days to get supports once they were already approved on the crisis waiver. So I began somewhere in the middle of that 385 days by accident. My girlfriend told me, hey, go to the county government meeting. There's the people you need to talk to. They can help you. And so this is 2022. I went before our legislators and I said, I'm drowning. I'm in crisis. I don't know what to do. I've tried this step, this step, this step, and there's some common sense solutions here. It doesn't make sense. Will you help me? And one of our representatives, her name's Lauren Mello, Representative Mello, brought me into her office, and I realized that I wasn't talking with some sophisticated, high-powered politician. I sat down mom to mom and was able to actually tell her a little bit more about the APD without realizing that's what I was doing. She helped my family get through that crisis waiver and then told me that this year, she would help that crisis eligibility determination, date, and implementation. So fast forward, I learned a whole lot more of things going on from other families I knew, and a support coordinator out of Sarasota sent an email and said, hey, I really think that if we want to see supports improved in Florida, the families got to talk. So I want to go down county to county, gather families up and get them to talk to their legislators. She came, we had this meeting, And at the end of the meeting, there was about 10 families in the meeting. And at the end of that meeting, yeah, I looked around the room and you know that look that we have where it's like, oh, you want to ask me to do one more thing? I don't understand. Super. And so I asked the parents, you know, how many of you have talked to a legislator about anything ever? And you know, no one had. So that's when I kind of figured out that that's intimidating on the family side. So maybe we could get a group of families together and talk about what we could do to affect change as families local with our legislators. And thus began We the People, by the people, for all the people is the purpose of it. We meet every week on Fridays on Zoom, and this has happened quite quickly. It's been 12 weeks. We're making it up as we go, but it's been incredibly effective because the concept is this. Our mission is to get 10 families in every county to go speak with their local legislators and tell them their story, because there is a lot of education and perspective we can provide as families about our loved ones or ourselves. We have some self-advocates too that can help educate them on how they can, you know, write bills this session and also become a resource if things come up down the road. And it has been dynamite. Amanda is one of my favorite success stories because her family was denied crisis and she had, without a doubt, a crisis going on. And because she went to her local legislators, established that relationship, spoke her truth, everything that we promote is truth. But with the understanding that we're asking, you know, lawmakers, decision makers for help, and that they may not know all of the facts. She got approved for crisis waiver. We had another mom that was even denied eligibility because she sent in the wrong diagnostic test that they were looking for. And that's, you know, that part is a confusing process. And it's been family after family. And every time we talk and there's a new family for the first time, met with their legislator, or spoke at one of these like public delegation meetings, that sense of empowerment instead of defeat comes over. And that's what happened to me. I was at a time where I could have easily fallen into despair, and just by going and placing my challenge into another energy, I immediately lost that feeling of hopelessness. And so over this past year and a half or so, I've recognized that families are really intimidated by the process of talking to legislators.
Oh yeah, I am.
Yeah, right.
I can do webinars, but don't yeah.
We're just people, man.
One of
So
the
I
things that
created.
impressed me about your group was that you really boiled it down to simplicity. Like
Mhm.
this flyer here, never met with your legislators that we just pulled up. You know, I'd been asked to share my story with Ben, my own son, a few times. I'm going, where do I even start with? And it could be like 50,000 pages long. But you were able to do something really, really neat and simplistic, which is what I really love about that.
Yeah, we
So,
have a lot of people that ask us for forms and documents in our lives.
mhm,
And telling your story, for the majority of the parents that I'm speaking with are in their 70s. They've been doing this a really long time. Their story is thick, it's
right.
deep.
Mhm.
So I did create a 7 steps on how to meet your local legislator. And I did meet with Kathleen Pasadomo, who's our current Senate president. And I ran it through her. And out of all the things in the meeting, she was like, "Oh, this is the best part of my day. This is so wonderful." And she did ask me to add under number 1, make an appointment, right where it says expert advice. One of the things that we said, but we didn't highlight, is that getting in good with their legislative aides, the people that take the phone calls and the emails, that is your money spot. That is your sweet spot. If they want to have a meeting with you, have a meeting with them. That is a great place to be a resource. But this gives like a very simple instructions on what to do to take the nerves out of the situation, because it can be quite intimidating if you just don't know the process. So that is the never met with your legislator. And then when talking about sharing our story, when you speak with a legislator or even their aide, you only have a few minutes, like 15 minutes if you're with an aide, 10 minutes at best with a senator or representative. And that is like, how do I do that? So I did create this fillable form where you can go online and it, put your name
one here.
or your loved one's name in, and what age are they? Where are you at? Are you on the waiver? Are you on the wait list? Are you not on either? And then what I really like about this is a few fun facts. The idea here is to create personal connections with our legislators. We're not iBudget numbers. We are not, we're humans, and we are the people, and it needs to be for all. So having that little piece of like fun facts also helps families when they go meet with their legislator. For them, Ben loves high fives. So if Ben were to go into a meeting, that legislator could have a tip, like, give this kid a high five, he's gonna love it. And then there's the part where it says, what would you like to share with your legislator? And there is a character limit on that. When we're doing these, if you see there with the hi, I'm Ben thing, this is something you can bring, a guide, a tool. So you know what you want legislators to work on this year. Here's a few little paragraphs on what you would like them to do. And the big thing with We the People is we're solution oriented. If we just hand our legislators a list of all the things, it doesn't create solutions. So I really like that it's simple, it's easy, and we could spread our octopus tentacles. Not one person is doing this. We don't need a lobbyist to do this. That's us. That's who we are. The family voice is incredibly powerful. And I love what has happened. I have learned so much. One of the big reasons that I'm one of the big things I'm speaking with anybody who will listen is how much I love family care councils. And I would love to see family care councils reestablished as robust people with information, because every time I go to our family care council meeting, I learn 400 different things. And more than that, I really learned that I'm not alone in this, that there are families right in my area that have maybe some answers or some similarities, and I can connect with people who get it. Because outside of this meeting, there's not a lot, even in my own family, that understands like I do what we go through. So I'm all about family care council meetings. Thank you so much for having, like, Jim, you were like one of my favorite treasures to find because you have so much information.
Well, thank you. And we did create a page for you on the website for By My Side today.
Thank you.
And the Tell Your Story, like you said, it's very simple to do. This link will take you directly to your form. We included a picture, and it took me about 10 minutes, and it was a nice relief because it was simple. Your Facebook group, I know, has gained a lot of traction. I think
we
you've
have
got
a Facebook group, and what I like about that is that's what we talk about in between our meetings, and it kind of gives us material like what's on families' minds, what we're going to talk about on Friday. The Facebook group has been so awesome.
Gotcha. So these links will take you to the YouTube channel, because like the Friday meetings you record and then you post to the YouTube channels. The link will take you to the Facebook page or to sign up to your mailing list. It's really great. Thank you so much for being on board with us today. And Mr. Ron, I think I seen you pop in there.
Good morning or afternoon, depending where you are. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well. Thank you for asking. Now, Ron, you're the CEO of, go ahead and introduce yourself to us.
Yeah, I am the president and CEO of the Arc of the Bay, also known as that's DBA, also known as the St. Andrew Bay Center. Last year we celebrated our 65th anniversary. We're now serving over 450 individuals. We've expanded. We're now in 8 counties. We have we've
Can you
been
tell us
working.
what counties those are, please?
Sure. We'll go north from Bay. We go to Washington, Holmes, going east to Jackson, Liberty, Calhoun, Gulf, and Franklin counties.
Okay.
And we're just again through employment services, working closely with VR. We have expanded. We have 2 adult day training programs, 2 facilities. Right now serving about 105 individuals there in those 2 facilities. We have what I think I know as I try to be as results oriented and fact based. I think we have the only certified culinary program certified under VR in the state. In our Culinary Institute, we have getting ready for, I guess it's our 12th class of graduation this December. We have graduated right now it's a restaurant readiness food service training program. We've graduated 65 students with about a 55% employment rate. Just, we embrace that everyone has value. I've been on several calls and I hear, higher functioning. And when I spoke with Brent McNeil, who's I think tomorrow's his last day, we have individuals that express they want to learn about the culinary field. Naturally, we are results-oriented employment. It's their voice, their advocacy, and where they want to play. But we also, of course, teach life skills, and so that is a part of cooking. And so we just help them grow. We have been continue to have and grow our business community base, having about over 100 businesses in our community. We're excited. Go ahead.
Sorry, what have you found is the key to connecting with advocacy and your community members?
You know what? We're in the people industry. Just being engaged, listening to the needs of the employer, just being there, finding out what their needs are. Of course, naturally listening to is that niche of being able to bridge the need for the employer with our students, our clients, and just being passionate about it. We're in this together. So, we have some challenges. I come from the corporate world of almost 25 years, and Lord, we had a lot of turnover, right? So naturally, we have turnover in our industry as well. But we love what we do, and we're blessed to do it, and that's the key. We celebrate a lot of, one of the goals that we have is that we celebrate all the little victories along the way, right? We all get challenged and run into obstacles and challenges. But we do a little employment highlight every week where we love on the employer and thank for embracing disability inclusion. And then we celebrate the employment with our students that are working. It's just, again, just trying to continue to build that relationship and that partnership. We're excited. It's been stressful. We're getting ready to close on our first. We got a grant, 2 individual grants that total about $860,000. We're getting ready to close on that, which is permits and it's the whole stress level. But getting ready to build our first 6-bedroom residential group home. Our church donated about a acre and a half, about $90,000 value of property to us. So we're excited about getting ready to start that project. We've identified everything that we have been doing, and again, just give God the glory, is focusing on the needs of the community. We now have 6 buses 2 vans. I think we do over about 4,000 different transportation trips. I'll get back to the advocacy and the voice and building the relationships also with the state agencies, VR. We, I tell you, those 8 counties that we serve, we've had the wonderful opportunity. It's hard, but we try to be committed to what we do what we say. But in all those different classes, that it's a 16-week class. Matter of fact, we have had 3 students come through our program. We have one now that lives in Bonifay, which is in Holmes County. It's an hour's drive. But we've built a relationship with VR and had initially a competitive transportation rate. But we, again, it's just building those relationships and giving, an equal opportunity for those that want to come to our programming. It's a challenge, as you can imagine, with the one hour drive there and 1 hour drive back. But it is doing what we say we're going to do for those that raise their hand and said they would like to learn.
What have you found? Have you found the secret yet to finding the right type of staff, the right type of people to?
Yep, we have. We've gone through this program we started 4 years ago, and our first chef was a great chef, and this individual knew how to cook, but could not relate to our folks. So we. Things didn't work out, as we know things sometimes don't. We went back. We have a great relationship with the Gulf Coast State College. They have a culinary program. We've hired a chef that had a relative with unique abilities, and they connect. And the individual could cook but connect. And so it was just it was a great fit. Our chef is now back at the college. They're going through a transition, but we were able to rehire, or not rehire, but hire another individual, and his brother is on the autism spectrum.
Okay.
And so we have been very, very fortunate and blessed to hire chefs that are talented, that know how to cook, but also know how to connect with our folks. And it's just, man, there's nothing greater than when you get that that connectivity, if you will, and watching them grow. Anyway, it's good stuff. It's good. We're really excited about that. Matter of fact, I was on a state call with State Director Hatch Monday. We were talking about some things. I'd sent an email out about the challenges that we have. Here in Bay County, we have about 29,000 students, of which over 900 are identified in the school system with unique abilities. But yet we have 250 on the wait list. In other words, we have a huge opportunity of getting those individuals registered. And within that communication that I'd sent out about trying to reach those families, I also identified autism. And that's the fastest growing segment.
Oh, yeah.
And so she was wanting to know about, because one of our strategic goals is to build a quality autism program within our adult day training program. And that's a different demographic. That's a different DSP. That's not minimum wage. And so we had good conversation about what we're doing to focus on the autism, because she's hearing more and more from the legislature. What's causing autism? What are we doing? What is APD doing to address that? So we had some good conversation about what we're trying to do. But I also got a chance to invite her to come and be our guest speaker at our graduation in December. We love what we do. We're blessed to do it. We're passionate. We try to think out of the box. We are more and more community based versus facility based. I'm taking 10 with me and another staff member to FSU football game this Saturday. We go to NASCAR. We take them to FSU when they play. By the way, I'm a Hurricanes fan, because Alan wants to know that.
Alan wants to.
So we take them to the basketball games. We're going to try to take them to some baseball games. One thing that I'm really excited about is about this group home that we're building. It butts up to a brand new, because we're still coming out of 5 years past Hurricane Michael, but the city of Lynn Haven has just rebuilt their sports complex. So I'm really, really excited because we're going to butt up to that sports complex. So we're going to get them out doing things, exercising, loving on them, and just doing some things that we can. We're looking, we've got a lot of resources around us. Alan will tell you that, with other ARC chapters. Went over to Jacksonville with Carrie Bates, who is a very, very talented CEO over there. Spent some time with her and 2 of our board members. I know Just to Be Dangerous, they have a PSR, a mental health program that we're looking at trying to bring in 6 months here. They have a college program. Of course, it's a different demographic, clientele, population, but we now have a dorm here with FSUPC and Gulf Coast State College. And it's looking at seeing what we can do in the summer, because there's some vacancies in the dorm. So what can we do to have like a college life in the summer time frame, where families are also caregivers, that, we live on the world's most beautiful beaches, right? So what would, if we had like 10 dorms open up and have a quality college campus life, still working through that, but just kind of thinking out of the box, and just focusing on the people that we have a privilege to serve.
Wonderful. I've always been impressed with your organization, because you're reaching out to different community members and bringing in that connection. But we're almost out of time here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just want to say, Ron, I like that Ron always goes to his delegation meetings and he takes clients with him. I think it makes a big difference. And I wish more providers would do that and make sure that their clients were, that the legislators got to meet some of the clients and stuff.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Mr. Allen, because we want to talk about.
We'll tell you there's some real quick. Alan, have you had a chance to chat yet?
Yes.
Yeah. I already spoke.
Okay. All right. Reason why I say that is this: when I had Director Hatch on the phone, when she visited our agency, 4 or 5 months ago, they've gone through a lot of changes, and we are underfunded. And I had shared with her at that time, with the changes that they're doing with the adult day training program, that we're projected to lose $96,000 this year. And I got a chance to let her know that, hey, we were able to get 2 grants for a total of $35,000. But if we had not gotten those 2 grants, we'd be in the whole $30,000 right now. So I was still advocating for we've got to have more funding. We got to have pay increases to do what we do.
Well, what I was hoping to be able to do with this, can people see this? Say the date: Developmental Disabilities Awareness Day, February 7th. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay. So we wanted to be able to link that in. One of the things that We the People is doing is they're trying to get people with disabilities to share their story. Because Stephanie, you want to talk about this? You want to take this to
About DD Day?
Yes, and you want to
Oh, are
take
you
the
kidding?
stories
I
with you?
absolutely want to do this. So, Developmental Disability Awareness Day is February 7th, and I think it would be unbelievably powerful if we, the people, came to Developmental Disability Awareness Day. We have a t-shirt. Do you have a link to, we have a t-shirt we could wear where we could all go together. We've Amanda is on contacting the DD Council to see if thank you, Jim, so that we could get a table. But we want as many families to be a part of this as possible. And the time to plan is now. So it's also the day before back to what you were saying with autism, the day before February 6th is Autism Awareness Day in the Capitol. And it's really kind of nice that they're back to back this year. But the DD Day in the Capitol, from what I used to see before I got involved in this, I went last year for my first time. Like, there's all sorts of cool stuff for they had like what do you call those people that go in, like the family cafe kind of guy? I don't know what mascot.
Different
Anyways,
organization.
yeah, they had all sorts of fun stuff, and we could totally do that. Like, bring the fun to the Capitol, bring the people to the Capitol, and all get together and have a grand old time. Like, it's our day. Last year it was pretty sad, to be honest.
So Ron and Alan, one of the things I would really love to see if we could help push this, if even if we could get several years ago as a support coordinator, Rick Scott, who was the governor at the time, was trying to cut budgets for services, and we had about 700 people from throughout the state converge on Tallahassee on DD Day, I believe it was, and it made an impact. So I think it'd be really great if we could do this as a statewide thing. If people aren't able to come, or even if they are, if they could just go through this link to tell their short story, to be a presence of that where we could really make an impact with this. Do we see that? Is that
Tom's
possible?
on this call, and the vision of plastering our stories all over the Capitol, that came from Tom, and I think it's so stinking fabulous. Because even if you're unable to go, you're still there. Like, and again, the idea is to show that we're just like you.
We're
We
people.
have differences, but we're people, and these people need help from the legislators, and just to make that connection. So if everybody on this call could tell everybody that that has a story to please, it takes 10 minutes, like, fill out the form. If you can't make it, we will come and help you get that information. We've had a couple ADTs pass it around to their people. If we could get providers to get, more people to participate in this, imagine what it would be like to have every wall covered at the Capitol.
I think they said the waiting list was 40,000 people in Florida. If you had 40,000 stories.
22,000, but I would take 1,000 right now. We have roughly like 150, and we're brand new. So,
and there's a way more number than 40,000.
Oh yeah,
way more big.
Yes.
And last year we decided that there was not a wait list by changing the name of it to pre-enrollment. But the truth is people are waiting. And so this is Tom Nurse, and our goal is to tell the stories and to be able to build a local relationship with your local offices, so the constituent services needing their help to help the agencies do what they are intended to do, but many times are forced designed to say no. This can be very helpful. So I really admire all the work that everybody's doing here, and glad to be part of it.
Thanks, Tom. I apologize in the introductions. We weren't able to include you. I wasn't trying to not include you because of the lack of time.
No,
we had to roll with it. Do we have any ending statements or comments? Or we have about 5 minutes left on time.
I kind of do.
Go ahead.
Okay. I can't. Mr. Ron, you talked about speaking with the director on the education, getting individuals like in the school system. Is that where you're going with that?
What I was sharing with her was, of course, is that the challenge that first of all, you have to have your disability diagnosis before the age of 18. And that's a timetable. We have so many issues that are that we're struggling in the public school system because of the breakdown of the family nucleus, right? I mean, it's all over. And so the key is that how do we get into the school systems? And I used to blame the school. I don't mean it wrong, the system. teachers aren't doing it. The school system's not doing it, getting to these families. I'm also the co-chair for the secondary committee for a group that we call Alignment Bay County Businesses Going into the School System Helping. And the schools are doing a lot of things, but when you have to go to the house to wake up a parent to pick up their child to bring them to school, I mean, there's so many challenges. And so I'm working with the school system stronger to see and identify how can we get to these families to get them registered. Because if they don't get registered, if they don't get identified, if they don't do that process, the average wait list is 7 years. Okay, you can still get on the wait list, but the average wait list, the numbers that I still have is 7 years. So think about that. Now that's also based on the scale of the disability. Okay. But when I went to the delegation meeting, I had brought several with me. One of my staff members, the best employment supervisor you ever find, she has a son with Down syndrome. He's been on the wait list for 4 years. She has to private pay for him to come here. That's unacceptable.
Benson's been on the wait list for 18 years.
Okay.
And my school
He graduates
district,
July.
my school district is really trying to make some advances ahead of legislation, but that is one of the things I think for the long-term solution to help families is to start, you can apply at the age of 3.
That's right.
So is to engage the school system alongside APD, maybe our HOPE people. Maybe that's something we could work on with the HOPE program. I'm not sure. And then I had one more question for you because I know we only have a minute.
Yeah.
I heard you say unique abilities, and I've heard that more recently than I've ever heard it. I was wondering, like, do you say why?
Well, here's the thing, you know, I used to say special abilities, and then I would say we're all special. Unique, you know, I don't want labels, right? We don't want labels. I guess, you know, that's some of the you know, between unique abilities, special abilities,
Developmental disabilities?
Well, IDD, intellectual developmental disabilities. You know, we also work with individuals that had a traumatic impact in their life, so they weren't born with a disability. So, you know, we all add value. So forget the labels, the terms. Let's love on these guys, these individuals that need us to be a voice and be passionate and let them know that they belong. So.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, as a social worker with 30 years in the field, working with a variety of people from very young to very old, you know, I think all of us have that one thing in common, regardless of our disability, and that's what we want to feel important. You know, I think that's one of the key things there. We all want to feel important. We find ways to do that, either positively or negatively. So with that, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. It's been a great call. Thank you all for the work that y'all are doing. And like I said, the links that we've seen are on our website at bymysidetoday.com. If you can please encourage people to tell their stories, just click on that link and run with it. It's really, really simple. Stephanie, I love the group. It's simplistic. You broke it down simply. And all the other people, you know, that's been helping you.
Like you, like making us a webpage. Thank you so much.
Yes, please let me know what we can do to continue, and hopefully we'll all be able to meet in person in February.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. Good to meet everybody.
If I can do anything to help people, please let me know. You can contact me through the By My Side website also. And with that, thank you so much, and we're out.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Givens.